How is everyone?
Doing good. Doing good.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for
And how was
having
that highlight reel, guys? I mean, I think I've got the best job of the conference to end with you, so I appreciate you being here. And I will say, I've seen the highlight reel a couple of times. Being a Kansas City native and a Chiefs fan, in that highlight reel, you ran through the Raiders twice, so I'm double thankful for you, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
All right. It was my pleasure to do it.
Thank you, thank you. And we all know clearly that you've had a storied football career. There's a lot that you've done since then, so we'll dig into some of that as well. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, Emmett and I did something like this a couple of years ago down in Florida. And if you see, I think we've got a picture coming up. That was he and I on the stage. We've both done different things since then. I joined Amazon Business. He opened a restaurant in Vegas. About the same thing, right?
Yeah, about
that same thing. So you've done so much, hard to know where to start, but I'm gonna first start out kind of going through your stats because they're amazing. These guys know what they are, but we're gonna go through them and then talk a little bit more about football. So, 15-year NFL career, 13 of those years with the Cowboys, Cowboys first round draft pick in 1990. You were also the Offensive Rookie of the Year in 1990. 3-time Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 28. Did we get that right?
Yep.
All right, we got that one right. 4 NFL rushing titles. We had, all-time rushing leader still to this day.
Correct.
That is good. Over 18,000 career yards in rushing, so that is great. NFL MVP in 1993. And you were a Pro Bowler 8 times over, when it actually meant something to be a Pro Bowler. Now it's like flag football just a little bit of fun and games.
The whole game has changed.
Right, exactly. And I think the pinnacle of all of that was your induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2010. So just a little bit of a career there, man.
Just a small one.
Just a small one. So how about that, guys? How was that? I mean, give the man his props here. Give the man his props. So we're gonna dig in. We're gonna kind of start early and come back forward.
Okay.
But you grew up playing football. At what point did you know that you had something special?
Well, first and foremost, it's truly an honor to be here with you all today to have a conversation to talk about some of the things I was able to accomplish, but also how I was able to get there. To answer your question, when I was I was 10 years old, and I was playing with 11 and 12-year-old guys. And I wasn't a starter running back or nothing like that, but I started on defense. And so when you're a 10-year-old and you're out there playing with 11 and 12-year-old kids, and you're delivering tackles and making runs as if you belong on the 11 and 12-year-old team, and you hear murmurs in the stands about who is that kid that's wearing this jersey? Man, he's good. And he's just, what? He's 10? Yeah. And that's when I realized that I could play up and I can be competitive with anyone that's at that age and maybe even further. And so from that point on, I have always been playing up. When I was 10, like I said, I played 11, 12-year-old guys. When I was a freshman in high school, I started on varsity for 4 straight years. So physically, I had the attributes that were required for me to compete at that level. Mentally, I had the mental capacity to compete at that level, but when I say that, I want to tell you this story. When I was 10 and I had to go play with the 11, 12-year-old kids, my very first day of practice, they moved me up from the 9 and 10-year-old kids because I was too big. So they started this drill, what we call the Oklahoma drill, where you put 2 tires on the ground and I have to run between the tires, and on the other side, this other kid is going to try to tackle me. This kid is 12 years old. I'm 10. We collide at the tires. He knocked the living crap out of me. I mean, knocked the living crap out of me. For the first time in my life, I wanted to quit the game of football. And I was and they wanted me to do it again, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this no more. I mean, enough is enough. And so reluctantly, I got back up. I'm standing over there at that kid, and I'm looking at him in the eyes. He's looking at me smiling. And a tear started to drop, my lips starting to quiver. They say, Hud, I take off running. I got to the tires, made a miss, and ran for the touchdown. And I learned a very valuable lesson at that time. Avoid contact at all costs. But I also learned how to overcome my fears because I was right back in the saddle. I didn't have to go get back in the line and think about it. I had to react right then and there. And from that point forth, learning how to avoid contact at all costs, learning how to protect myself on the football field, learning how to compete at a 12-year-old level while I'm 10, is things that I had to learn. I had to learn how those hits felt. And then as you get used to that, you just roll with it from that point forth.
And who helped you in your high school years? Who helped foster your skills? Who helped you hone all of that?
Well, a lot of people. Really, Billy Spriggs was the guy named that hit me that hard. So
remember to
he
this
helped
day.
me hone my skills in terms of mental capacity, mental focus, and mental fortitude. But Dwight Thomas helped shape a lot of things in terms of putting not only the sport in perspective, but also being able to take something that you utilize in sports, but also apply it in real life. Goal setting, introduced that to me, and not only me, but the whole entire varsity squad during my freshman season. And so he asked us to do a couple things. One, go home tonight and write down your team goals. And then right beside that, write down your individual goals, what you want to achieve individually within the sport, things like that. And that's when I started doing these things because I believed in them. I trusted what he was saying. And before you know it, our football team got transformed all because of a perspective that he laid out. He shifted our mindset and had us believing that we could actually become something very special in the state of Florida, which we ended up doing. We didn't do it in year one, but we did it in year two and year three. I mean, my sophomore and junior year, we won state championships in the state of Florida when previously, years before that, my high school wasn't even on the radar in the city.
Yeah.
And so all of those things became part of how I started to see the game of football because I was getting the results from the coaching that I was getting.
Yeah.
And I believed in them so much that I continued it on from college all the way to the pros.
Yeah. And I think that kind of lesson too, just teams that are here today, I'm hoping my team is taking notes on goal setting and building and developing your teams, right?
Today we call it vision boards.
Right.
So it's different, but it's kind of the same. How do you see yourself? What do you see yourself achieving while you're doing the things that you're doing out there to become the best version of yourself for the teams that you're on?
Right.
So all of that's important.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then when we talk about get to your professional career, you had lots of success early on, like quick success. You had, 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, something like that, like quick success.
3 and 4.
3 and 4, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. How do you stay motivated? You've won it all. You've been you've been MVP here, MVP there.
Right.
But you played for 15 years. What kept you going?
What kept me going was the long-term goals that I set on top of the short-term and mid-term goals that I set. But most importantly, when you start having success and you go to that very first Super Bowl and you see the correlation to what you did and your team did throughout the course of that year. For example, Michael was probably in the top 5 and top 3 in receiving yards. Troy was in the top 5 in passing yards. I led the league in rushing. And so when you start seeing your teammates and everything reach that top 5 status and you see that as a winning formula, you buy into the system. You buy more into the system. And when you buy more into the system and you're trusting those guys that you know are leading the way and you can count on them week in and week out, the consistency that they're showing is really where it boils down to. Because once you show them people, in this case, that you are consistent and consistently doing the right things all the time, even when others are not looking, and it's translating to what you're doing on the field or even in some cases into your business, then people start to rely on it. Amazon is dependable. I know my product is gonna be here within 24 hours, or I know it's gonna be here same day. Regardless, I know I can count on it. And when you have that kind of accountability, that kind of consistency, that kind of trust that you built into your customer base, and not only that in what you build in terms of your team, everybody can rely on you. And that's something special. That's when you really know that you have a chance. And you have to remain humble in that process.
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to knock the number one off. Right now, everybody hates the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. Yeah, that's true. It's true.
And no one wants to see the Kansas City Chiefs win 3 in a row because that means everyone else didn't do it. And so
Yeah.
when you're that good, that's what you build. You attract haters.
Right.
I hate to say it, but that's what you attract, haters. I hate on Kansas City right now because I don't want to see them do it. But nonetheless, they're a very good football team.
Yeah.
They got quality players. And that's what you relying on. That's what you banking on is the consistency that you see out of that team. You know what you're going to get week in and week out.
And doing it at that same level, that high level.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Consistency.
And that's the way you become, that's how you become the all-time leading rusher.
Yep.
Is being consistent year in and year out. And every year I used to go into every season, even though if I did lead the league in rushing, I always thought I was the number 3 guy. And I always put somebody, some fictitious person or some real person ahead of me. And Batman had his villains and I had mine too.
Yeah.
And mine were actual really, really good football players.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, every time I see him, I want him to know that he's not the best.
Kept you hungry.
Kept me hungry.
Yep.
And you have to find ways to remain hungry and remain humble.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit, when you were playing, the running game was king. And now it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
How do you think your game fits into how today's game is played? What would you see yourself maybe doing differently? Or have you thought about that at all?
Nope.
You got a restaurant to think about right now.
I mean, I'm like, if I have thought about it. I'm lying to you when I tell you no. I have thought about it a little bit. I'm like, are they really earning this money?
Right? Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Are they really worth all that? I mean, you done lessen the blows in the game. They can run across zones feeling like a little deer, just run across the middle, and nobody's gonna hit them. I mean, the quarterback can drop back and just lay down on a pillow because nobody can touch him. I mean, period. I mean, so why do they deserve hundreds of millions of dollars when ain't shit happening to them? That's how I feel about it. I mean, not one of these guys gonna ever become the all-time leading rusher because nobody wanna handle the ball. They all tapping out. I'm tired. Come get me. I'm like, what is this? This is not football.
So you have no real
They get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play flag.
This is true. This is true. And go to the Pro Bowl.
They're gonna go to the Olympics in a couple of years
This is
too.
true.
Because flag is gonna be in the Olympics in the next 4 years.
This is true.
We're gonna have some of the best athletes out there.
Not getting touched.
Not getting touched.
Not getting touched at all. Not getting touched at all.
Getting a gold medal.
Let's go back a little bit early in your career. I know I've heard you talk about some of your mentors.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones, Roger Staubach. Tell us a little bit about what those people meant to you, what you've learned from them. Do you have other mentors in your new entrepreneurial world that you talk about?
No doubt, I do. But here's the thing. I mean, coming from humble beginnings, Pensacola, Florida, and then working your way through the University of Florida and then having an opportunity to change the trajectory of your whole entire life, including your family's life. When you step into another arena, you're in an arena by yourself. Mm-hmm. You are the Lone Ranger. You are the trailblazer because no one in my family ever saw the capital that I was about to make. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they didn't even understand how to deal with it, let alone advise me on it. Mm-hmm. And so surrounding yourself with people that had the wisdom and the understanding of what to do with the capital that you're making, how to protect it, how to invest in it, and telling you things about risk and all those kind of things. As a young man, I had to learn these things. So watching Jerry Jones, who paid $140 million for the Dallas Cowboys in '89, fired a legendary coach, Tom Landry. A tough decision, but a decision that needed to be made. He had to make tough decisions in order to get the Cowboys where he needed them to be. And he hired a guy by the name of Jimmy Johnson, which everybody in the league said, it's not gonna work. It's never been done before. Mm-hmm. Just like they're saying about Kansas City.
Right.
They're not gonna get 3 in a row. But it has been done and it can be done. Mm-hmm. So watching the Cowboys grow from 89 to 90 and seeing how they operated as an organization and the things and the moves that they were making, the leverage that they were putting into everything, whether it was the team itself and how they leveraged the team to attract clients and customers and sponsorship and everything else. I was watching these things as we were growing. And my rookie year, I went to Jerry and asked this question. I was the only player at that time. I don't know if any other player has ever done it, but he'll tell you, I was the very first one to say, Jerry, can I come sit down during my lunch period in your office and listen at your conversations that you're having with whomever on the phone? I would sit over here, I would be extra quiet. I just want to get an understanding of what's going on. He's like, you want to do that? I'm like, yeah. He said, sure, come on in. Maryland, and whenever he comes around, he wants to come in, I'm in the office, let him sit in. So I would go over in his office every now and then and just sit down and listen at his conversation and listen at him negotiate with sponsorships. And got a chance to get some insight in terms of how they looked at the Cowboys, how they looked at sponsorships, how they leveraged the Dallas Cowboys, and how our play on the football field enhanced the value of the sponsorship, which made sense. So it translated to me in terms of my performance on the football field, how my performance would also garnish the attention of corporate America. Then I would get the marketing dollars on the Reebok side or the Starter side or on the Coca-Cola side or PepsiCo side. Any of those things all those things were available to me. And then you learn that. Then you run into a guy like Roger Staubach that's on the business side, completely different, but he's showing you how to transition from the game into one arena, from one arena to the next. And he rolled right into the real estate space. Matter of fact, he was in the real estate space while he was playing the game of football anyway, because he was only making $100,000. He was taking the hits, real hits. Yeah. Unlike some of these quarterbacks not taking hits and making hundreds of millions. They can't even throw the ball in some cases. But nonetheless, I digress. My bad. You can tell it's a soft spot, right? Anyway, but watching what he did in terms of building his organization, the Staubach Company, which was completely in the real estate services business. Office, industrial, retail, you name it, had a construction part of it, doing multifamily with one of his friends and everything else. He did everything, full service. And so understanding that gave me other insight as well. Leaning on Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan to have conversation with them around the different types of businesses that they're doing. So I was immersing myself into the business so I can get better understanding and just build up the tolerance of understanding the lingo of what's happening in the room. I could be in the room and be a fly on the wall and not say nothing and just soak it all up. And so that created a different type of athlete for me. Yeah. And I saw different types of athletes doing big things that I was aspiring to do, but I was still playing the game.
Yeah, and we've been talking this week about, procurement in general and a lot of procurement leaders in the room, but to your point, we got to work together across the organization, and it's not just the players on the field, it's the back office. What are the sponsorships that are being built? What are the connection points? And it all comes together.
And what I found in some big companies, sometimes the big companies that have all these different divisions, none of the divisions really know what's going on in the other division. So I could be talking to somebody over here one day and developing a great relationship and about to cut a deal, and guess what y'all do? Y'all ship them completely to some other place, and then I got to start back ground zero 8 more months with a new person that sometimes doesn't work out, and I'm hot at y'all too, by the way. Because that happens. I miss out on some opportunities big time, because sometimes when a new person comes in, they want to go back to old reliable because they don't want to run the risk with a young, inexperienced, or trying to gain more experience in the business, because they got to solidify their position. So I understand that I got to develop patience, y'all.
Right, yeah.
But my patience is running thin. But things like that happen. But that's what happens in big companies.
Right.
And I noticed that a lot. And it's not just, I'm not talking about Amazon. I know that it happened in Walmart. It happens in Target. It happens in other companies and so forth. They don't even, sometimes people don't even know, oh, we got a solar division? Yeah, y'all do solar energy as well.
Right.
So, but yeah.
You got to be intentional about it. As
You got to
an
be
organization.
intentional about what it is that you're doing. We're talking to a bunch of people in the procurement side of the business, but being intentional with young entrepreneurs is important.
Yeah.
And I got to trust you that we're going to pull something off, and you got to trust me that when you give me the opportunity, I'm going to deliver.
That's right.
I've been delivering my whole life, so give me some more opportunities, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So-
Speaking of delivering,
Yeah.
let's talk about 2006.
What happened in 2006?
Dancing with the Stars?
Oh.
Oh, this
Oh.
minor thing.
Yeah.
Who watched that? Anybody watch that? All right. Won it all with Cheryl, right? As
I
your
delivered.
partner. You delivered.
Yeah.
As we were kind of preparing for this, we watched the, the MC Hammer freestyle finale that you did.
Oh, really?
Foot moves, my friend, like
saw the
on
MC
and
Hammer
off
moves,
the field,
huh?
right?
With the hammer pants and all.
Yeah, so the hammer took me back to a time.
Took me back to the worst of times.
But how do you, that is something completely outside of anything you've ever done before. How do you go into that? How do you just go into something brand new and then win it all? It's because you're you, but
I like the word KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I took the things that I had in football and learned through sports and translated it right into the ballroom. And here's what I mean. In football, we have, obviously, at every practice, there's a warm-up period, and then there's a bunch of sections. It could be 12 stations that we may have throughout the course of practice. And each station represents some form of work that we need to work on. And by the time you get to the 12th, it's team period. That's when you're bringing everything together and you run it through a game type of scenario. Mm-hmm. And so even when dancing, I had a 1-20-second routine. And the best way for me to learn it was to take what I learned, take these stations and apply it in the dance room. I need to learn the first 30 seconds, section one or station one. I need to learn the next station, which is station two, which is a minute. And the final one was the complete routine. So once I learned the complete routine, now I knew where I was at on the dance floor. I knew what to do. There was no questioning, no hesitation. We was running it back and forth. And that's just day one. Then day two, we make adjustments. Like everyone else, you have to make adjustments. We made adjustments to improve the routine and try some stuff in between. I was comfortable enough with the routine to where I can break out of it and come back into it. And then we worked on, in day two, we also worked on technique. So technique became very critical, and that's just day two. Day three is all about technique. It's also about making minor adjustments within the routine. And then before you know it, by the time you get to day three, it's like, okay, I feel very comfortable with where I'm at. I feel comfortable with what I'm doing. I have the technique down. I'm finding little pockets within the routine where I can allow my personality to come.
Yeah.
And that's when you start to have fun. And that's when it all came together quickly, because when you're on week after week, you don't have a whole lot of time. You don't have a month to prepare for 3 dances.
Right.
You only have 4 or 5 days to get prepared for the next show.
Right. You knew you were going to win it, didn't you?
I didn't know. But I had a good feeling. I had a good feeling that I just needed to make it to the finals. But Mario Lopez made it so hard. He had dimples and all I had was gray hair.
Right, let's be honest. And you were in it when there were actual names we knew, too.
Yeah.
Now I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
What was your favorite dance?
My favorite dance was the waltz.
The waltz,
Yeah. I loved it because of the rise and fall, the elegance of it all, especially when you come from physicality and being able to translate it into something soft and gentle and kind. You know, I just loved it. I thought it was a beautiful dance.
Oh, that's great. Now, our homework is we all have to go back and watch that waltz. That is
It was
awesome.
cool.
That is
I was
great.
actually learning how to do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it was starting to come together at that time in terms of the push and the pull to help her slide across the floor and everything else. And I was actually taking the lead.
And it's a strength, to your point, it's a quiet strength that you have to have with that kind of dance, right?
It is a quiet strength.
Yeah.
And as a man, when you're dancing, you actually have to lead.
Right.
And you can tell sometimes when Cheryl or someone else is leading the dance with their opponents.
Right, right. Interesting. Thanks for sharing that.
Kinda cool.
Thanks for sharing that, yeah. And let's talk about kind of currently where you are. So has anybody been to Emmett's new restaurant in Vegas yet? It just opened this year. All right, that's also
How many in
homework.
here? How many of y'all in here?
I know.
I need to see all of y'all out there in Vegas now.
Right, right. That's your homework number 2 is we got to get to Emmett's Vegas. Tell us about that because that is, you've got the real estate where you have these mentors, you were maybe closer to that. But restaurants are notoriously difficult.
They are.
So tell us why? Why a restaurant, Emmett?
I have no earthly idea. I'm serious about this. I mean, put it this way. I had some business friends and business partners approach me about this restaurant. They're like, hey, what do you think about opening up a restaurant, a steakhouse or something? And I'm like, where? They're like, Vegas. I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting, but where in Vegas? He said, well, we got a location. Won't you meet us in Vegas and let us show you the location, then tell me what you think. I flew out to Vegas, met them, went to the location, and it's across from the Wynn and the Palazzo and Treasure Island and right in front of the Fashion Show Mall on the Strip. And it faces the Wynn and the Palazzo. And it's right next to Benihana's, down from Capitol Grill. It's the old sugar factory spot with the carousel on top. And so I saw the location. I'm like, okay, this is prime location. Great visibility to the Strip. I got 10,000 eyeballs over at Enclave and the Wynn. I got another 10 over here at the Palazzo and Venetian. And I got Treasure Island right there. Then down the road, we got the World Resort. So, and they're gonna have the Indy cars flying right by.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is starting to make some sense. Who's gonna do the cooking?
All right.
So you have to, I call it finding the snake in the woodpile. Yeah. And once we got to and settled in on the chef, and I went through all the tasting because the food had to be top notch.
Yeah.
And our food is top notch. And I'm like, okay, cool. How much money I got to put in?
It's all about always about the money.
No, you don't have to put no money in. I was like, good. That's even better.
We want your name.
Better. Yeah. You want my name? Protect it, okay? Please protect it. Protect it with quality food, quality service, and let's have a good time doing it.
Yeah. Now, what parts of the restaurant have your touches?
The butter cake.
All right.
The butter cake is my recipe. They tried to make the butter cake, and they were failing.
It's not a good
miserable.
butter cake.
It really was. And then I said, finally, I'm going to send y'all the recipe. I sent them my recipe. They did a few tweaks, and they knocked it out the park. And the tomahawk steak is amazing.
Is that the one with your logo on it?
With the logo on it. The bolognese is awesome. The carbonara, awesome. The sushi is amazing. The drinks are always on point.
Good. Always good.
Always on point. But it's a great restaurant. We were named Open Table Restaurant of the Year in Vegas, and we only been open like 7-8 months.
Nice.
Yeah, so
just open.
If you're coming through, just come on down there and see us. Tell them I sent you.
In February, right? Is that when it opened?
Yeah. Well, we had a soft opening in February.
Okay.
We officially opened up in March.
In March. Okay. Okay. So something new for all of us to go and see. And
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about it, but again, taking on something new. Commonalities that you see with that venture and your professional sports career.
Oh my gosh. I would say people are your greatest liability, but also your greatest asset. One thing about the restaurant business is having people, and one thing about business period, is to take on the philosophy of the owners. Oftentimes people think that owners are just in it for the money. No, at the end of the day, the owners are in it to make money. You don't get in the business to fail, you get in the business to make money, but also to provide people with an opportunity to grow within the business and the franchise. And so service is paramount in anything that we do, anything. You say, well, Mrs. Smith, how would you say service in football and service in business? Well, if you ever been to Jerry's World and you paid $200 for a parking pass, and you go into the stadium, you pay $400 for a ticket, and you go to the concession stand and you pay $35 for popcorn, $25 for a Coke, and $55 for a doggone hot dog, and the Cowboys lose, you feel like you got robbed. That's not service. That's not service at all. But when you go and you pay that kind of money and they win a lot, and they end up in the playoff and the Super Bowl, you feel like you got every penny worth it.
Yep.
They are providing that type of service. And it's the same thing in the restaurant business. You come to our restaurant, we want you to walk out of there saying, oh my gosh, the food was amazing. The service was spectacular. I can't wait to come again. Mm-hmm. That's the mission. That is always the mission. And for employees, they need to understand that's the mission. Mm-hmm. The mission is, here's what I learned from Jimmy Nichols, my high school coach. I fumbled the ball 3 straight times on my first 3 carries as a true freshman in high school. He lit me up. He told me the football is the most important thing on the football field, not you. Service is the most important thing that we can ever give any client. It's not about you, it's about the quality of service. So don't mistake that you are just that special. You're only that special when you provide the quality service, period. So don't get it twisted.
Yep.
Understand that you have a responsibility to provide something. You're providing, they're hiring you to provide a service to the people that we are serving. It's not all about you, it's about that customer. That customer has to have a very good experience. And the better you do your job, the better experience they're gonna have.
That's right.
The better experience they have, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna order more stuff.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
It's a simple thing.
Keep it going.
Get out the way.
Yep. Have you watched the show The Bear?
No.
You may not have gone into the restaurant business had you watched that.
I'm still asking why I'm in it now, so I don't think I need to see The Bear to wonder why.
Give yourself a few years on that one. Give yourself a bit on that one. So you've mastered professional sports. You've mastered real estate.
I haven't mastered nothing.
Ah, okay.
My professional sports side of it is done. I didn't master it, but I did get my 10,000 hours of excellence in it.
There you go. Okay.
But business is constantly evolving.
Yep.
Learning is always an opportunity. As you know, best practices is something that we all try to adopt in our lives, also in our businesses. And the only way you do that is to find quality people that are doing the right things consistently all the time. That's why Kobe Bryant was Kobe Bryant. That's why Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. LeBron is LeBron. And so on and so on. Some of the great athletes do things that most people don't even realize because most people are sleeping when these guys are working.
Right.
And so some guys that are in the office early and leaving late, you don't know why they're there, but they're there doing a whole lot more. They're learning and growing. They're putting in those hours so they understand not only their routes and businesses and everything else, but sometimes business require those things. Mm-hmm. And then when you elevate yourself up to a level to where you're managing all that and running all of that, you look for people to have the same fire. Mm-hmm. Everybody does not have the same fire.
That's fair, yeah.
That's a fair statement.
And you got to find those people.
And you're trying to find those folk, and because it means something to them to be the very best. And to be a leader, you can't lead people where you haven't even gone yourself.
Right, right. Where are some places that are piquing your interest? You got the restaurant. What other things are you looking at?
I'm trying to lessen my load.
Because you have been on the road, let's be honest, you've been on the road like, what, 4 out of the last 5 days?
Yeah, and I'm on the road
that?
again tomorrow, so I'm just trying to lessen my load. I'm working on more, I'm at this place where now QTL is becoming important.
Yeah.
Quality time left is more important. And you know, I love being busy, love working, love delivering messages, love sharing my knowledge and experiences with people, because I think that's the best gift that I can give back to mankind is to share with you honestly and openly some of my challenges and some of the things that I've gone through and how I was able to overcome to become the best version of myself. And I'm steady evolving. So this is not it. As long as I'm living, I'm gonna continue to try to expand my mind with more knowledge and gain and become better all the way around, no matter what the situation is. Dwight Thomas told us this: never become satisfied with anything, because the day that you do, the growing stop. Mm-hmm. So I don't ever want to stop growing. I want to continue to gain knowledge as the world continues to evolve, whether it's with new technologies. Now we're talking about AI. Before AI, it was all about the semiconductor chips that was doing something different. It became about the iPhone, became about the internet, and so forth and on and on. There's always going to be something new that we have an opportunity to learn. And the more you learn, the more you continue to grow.
Right.
The less you learn and the less you stay stagnant and flat, you stay still and time moves you by, and before you know it, you wake up, you're so left behind, it's ridiculous. And you're wondering what happened. So always seek knowledge and wisdom in places that may not be as interesting, but some things are going on over there in the world that could be transformative in the future. Like blockchain, for example. It died off, right?
Yeah, where did that go?
Where did it go? All the fake stuff, what they call them, the NFTs. Where did all that stuff go? It may come back in a different format.
Yeah.
Because technology now is coming up with it. So what we thought was just a fad might come back in a totally different way. Now that AI is involved, now that different technologies are coming up, the chips are getting faster now and smaller and less expensive. You'll be surprised what will happen. Some things that was 60 years ago that could not be possible might be possible today.
And I think, you got that fire in your belly, keep feeding it because you don't know where it's going to go.
Well, one thing it will lead you to is more knowledge.
Right.
And the more knowledge you get, the more you see the world completely different. Some people see the world in a narrow view.
Right.
And some people see the world from a holistic perspective. And what I mean by that is, I look at football, I look at life through the lens of football. Quality, work ethic, all the things that are required to make a player become the very best version of themselves. The same thing I look at business too, the same way. What's required of me, what's going to be required of my partners and everything else, the level of integrity that we must carry with us no matter what the situation is, and are we learning what we did not do well on this particular deal? Are we learning from our mistakes? And are we growing as a company? And are we becoming a thought leader in the industry that we're operating in, and are we taking that leadership role?
Are you a person of routine?
Yes. I believe in a routine, but I also believe in checking out.
Yeah, okay. That's part of the routine,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Well, it must be part of my routine. As busy as I am, I need to check out. I take about a week a quarter for myself to do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Don't call me, don't talk to me, I'm good.
But you need that recharge.
Oh,
if you're going
it.
100 miles an hour every single
I need
day,
it.
if you don't recharge, it doesn't sink in. It doesn't
hold.
Exactly.
It doesn't hold. And plus, I'm not my very best when I'm worn completely down.
Right.
Because I'm not as crisp, I'm not as sharp, I'm not as strategic. I don't see the field as clear because everything is a little blur. And I'm not as attentive neither.
Right.
So I'm short-tempered and so forth.
Right. So as an entrepreneur, I'm sure there's folks in the audience here who have been entrepreneurs, are thinking about it. What's some advice that you would give somebody thinking about becoming an entrepreneur?
Don't be afraid to go after your dreams. Fear will keep you on the sidelines and not in the game. And as I said, when you stay stagnant, things move past you. You can have a great idea and never execute on it. Y'all remember this commercial? It used to be BNSF. We do things and we do them better or something like that. You have to take that approach. If you have a concept or an idea, you have to vet it. Obviously, you have to create the MVP on it and test it out in the marketplace. But you gotta have the courage to go after it. If not, it's just gonna be an idea and somebody else is gonna take it. They may not even know that you're doing it, but somebody else is thinking something similar. Therefore, there's an industry already for it. And so you're thinking about something and enhancing and making the industry better. Someone else is thinking the same way. Someone right now is taking AI and running it through everything. And so as he was talking about the delivery method and
Yep.
the challenges of knowing when you're open and knowing when you're not open, I heard him talking about it in the back. AI is going to solve some of that, and it's going to bridge the gap.
Yep.
Because you're going to get a ping, ding, he's open.
Yep.
And you're going to turn that truck over there and go deliver those packages and then keep on pushing because you know they open. If they ain't open, you're going to keep on going by them. So there's going to be something that someone is going to develop to help us become more efficient. Don't let the machines become the smartest. Mm-hmm. Don't dummy yourself down because you got machines doing most of the work. Mm-hmm. Because the best asset is people. We need to tell the machines what to do and how to do it too.
Yeah.
And they follow our directions quite nicely. And sometimes they go a little bit further than we want them to go. But that's okay. Go grab this information quicker and bring it back so I can make a faster decision.
Right, right.
So,
I've got 3 kind of rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
As we close our time out. First is, and this is just, we're spitballing here, so just bear with me here.
Okay.
What's the last book you read?
the last book I read, oh my goodness, probably was my Bible this morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. And
I
that's
read
part of
it-
your ritual, part of your everyday
Part of my
practice.
everyday routine.
Very good.
Before I even leave my room, before I even go wash my face and everything else, I'm there on my knees, hear my prayers, going through my Jesus calling, listen to whatever music I need to listen to, get myself ready
Keeps
for
you
the
centered,
keeps
keeps
me
you
centered.
focused. Very good. Okay, so that was that question. Second question is, what's the last thing you bought on Amazon?
Ooh. I think I bought some Old Spice
Were you in
Body
an Old
wash.
Spice commercial at some point? Do it.
Yeah, I did Old
Yeah,
Spice
you
commercial back
did.
in the day.
Yeah, you did. All right, all right. And then the final question I have, this may take a little bit longer, so it might not be rapid fire, but I got to ask it. What are your thoughts on the Cowboys this year? I know. They submitted the questions. I'm just doing a service to
I'm not
them.
sure who submitted the question, if it was them or you. Being from Kansas City and loving Kansas City and all. Man, I don't think much about the Cowboys right now. I mean, I'm disappointed in our performances. That I am. That's about all I can say right now. Because I go any further, it's gonna get ugly.
Yeah. Somebody's recording
Yeah,
us,
and
so
I'm
we
trying.
will.
Yeah. But they've heard me talk about them before, and not in the best light too.
Fair.
Because it's fair. I mean, when you play like garbage, you're gonna get treated like garbage. I mean, we can't stop the run. We're not running the rock, and we just look out of sort right now, and it just doesn't look good at all.
Well, and it kind of goes back to what you said earlier, just about the team coming together. You got to get good in all of those stations and bring it all together, and then be good all together.
All together. That's one reason
right?
why you have team.
Right.
At the end, team is the last period. It's to do all the little things, to work on these little things, and then bring it over and translate it into the team aspect. So offensive line, wide receivers, they may get over here and do all the individual routes and everything else. So does the backs. We go over blocking protection and everything else. And when you come to team, they throw everything at you, blitzes and everything else to make sure that you're picking up the guys, the right guys, making sure you're on the right blocking assignment, making sure that you're not jumping on sides, all those things.
Right.
That's why it's called team, period. We come together as a team, we review everything that we went over, and now it's time to put it to practice.
Right.
So the people used to say the perfect practice, what they used to say, something about perfect practices, great practices or something. And it is not that. It is the best, it's the best practices deliver the best results. Mm-hmm. Because if you're doing the best practices all the time, you will deliver the right results consistently. And so it's not just going through the motion.
Right. You got to get back to the basics
You got to get back to the basics.
and get that routine, that all the time, doing
All
it
the
the same
time,
way,
doing
all the time.
doing the same thing over and over and over again to where it becomes monotonous.
Yep.
To where you just absolutely got to push yourself now to go even further.
Right, right. Okay, we have time for one more question, one last question, because I'm curious. What do you think of this new kickoff rules?
I don't pay much attention to it.
Fair enough, fair enough. It's a
You're
little
paying these
silly,
guys all
but
this money and
we're going back.
I mean, like, and they can't run 40 yards and block somebody.
Or a kid and we can't touch it, right?
I mean, like, come on.
Right, right. Well,
I mean, the referees are ruining the game, but all the pass interference passes and everything else. I mean, automatic first down for Kansas City to keep their drive going so they can win the game. I mean, just like, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, shoot, it's all about the over and the unders and the bets and everything going on in Vegas now. It's like, why you got to call back to New York City to get an answer when we can see it right here on television, knowing that the guy elbow was down. I just saw this the other night. The guy, what's the Kansas City game? Elbow fell just short of the first down, and normally when your elbow hit the ground, they call you down.
Right.
He was a whole half a yard away from the first down. They said, first down? I'm like,
Got it.
come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Sorry.
Yeah, cheapening the game, but yet paying everybody. This is what we've resorted to, guys.
Yep.
I mean, they need to take the page out of Amazon's book, man. Get this thing right.
Get it moving.
Get the logistics right. Get all of it right.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Well, on that note, I appreciate you being here. This has been so much fun.
Thank
I
you.
think everybody has enjoyed seeing you and hearing your stories, getting to know about you, your new adventure. We've got homework. We're all going to go to Vegas together. We're all going to hit Emmett's Vegas. So thank you so much for being with us. And everybody, thank you for your time and for listening to us
Thank
today.
you. Have a blessed weekend.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
We'll walk out here together.